Hey, good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the Home Weather Office. It is Tuesday morning. It's now the first day of July, 2025. This is the morning briefing, and as I look out the window from the Home Weather Office, there's a few alto Q out there, alto cumulus clouds, a little deck maybe up there around 10, 12,000 feet. And yeah, there was some action last night. Just like the models were showing, unfortunately, for me anyway, it happened late at night during the overnight hours, and because there was some lightning, and yeah, I missed it all. So interesting to look at the radar, because this can tell you a lot. This goes back to the time between about 12:30 and up to about 3:30. A lot of ground clutter here in the Davis radar. You can see the cells that developed, like in here. You can just see that going across, but it is kind of mixed in with some of the ground clutter here. But this is about like what the HRRR said was going to happen. And while there isn't any lightning showing here, what happens with the radar is looking for cloud to ground strikes. Quite often, lightning is cloud to cloud, and that is likely what was happening last night. So there were some lightning strikes, there was some thunder, but nothing showing up here in terms of lightning strikes. Now, this doesn't look that great. But because another thing here is that this was all elevated. We talked about that yesterday, elevated convection. A couple of things we could do here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just switch the radar and now look at it from the Reno radar. Now, if we switch over to the Reno radar, what that's going to do is now the Reno radar is showing areas well up into the atmosphere because of the angle of the radar. The radar is way over here, so by the time it's pointing over it here, it's showing, the clouds probably up around 10, 12,000 feet or so. So that's rather interesting and a much cleaner picture of what was going on here. And there's the cell that went over the Sacramento area, and some heard some rumbles of thunder, and that would have been, let's see, this is 3 o'clock right here, so around 3:30. But yeah, didn't get any of that at the Home Weather Office. Let's go back to the Davis radar. I just want to look, I haven't looked at this yet, but this, I'm going to look at, because you can also look at different tilts of the radar. So this is tilt 1. Let's go up to tilt 3 and see if that looks any different. Yeah, that looks a little bit different. Takes out a lot of the ground clutter and again, points more up into the clouds. Let's go up to tilt 4 and play that. And so when I say different tilts, the radar is, there's the base one we use is tilt 1 because that's what you want to see is the rain that's reaching the ground. But they do various tilts on the radar, and so they can do a volume scan. So they want to scan vertically as well. So each time the scan goes around, it goes up a little bit higher, and it just repeats the cycle. And so this is tilt 4 and pointing more up into the clouds, and so you get a cleaner image than what you saw down here at tilt 1. And other than maybe a couple of sprinkles, there really wasn't much that reached the ground out of these. But yeah, it was an interesting night last night. I wish I had seen some of that, but yeah, I was not awake at 3 o'clock in the morning to see any of that. And besides, it all missed the Home Weather Office anyway. Here's that little deck of alto Q that I do see outside the window this morning. We do have marine layer here and more cloudiness here, so we still have this overall pattern. And this deck of alto Q tells you that there is some mid-level moisture out there this morning, and there will be another round of thunderstorms today. So the question is, where are they going to be? Well, let's take a look at two models. Let's take a look at the HRRR that did pretty well last night, but to be fair, the NamNest did pretty well also. So this is this morning. Now we're up to midday, and this is going to be a bit more productive today in areas like northern Lake County, Mendocino County, and up through Trinity County and Siskiyou County. Now, there weren't very many fires started yesterday. There were a couple that were started up here that they turned out to be pretty small. We're hoping for the same thing again today, that this bunch here won't really do much in terms of starting any fires. We also have quite a bit of activity from Modoc through Lassen County, and then maybe all the way down toward areas like Portola. Now, this is at 3 in the afternoon, This is 5 in the afternoon. So very well-defined pattern here. Then as we head past sunset, that activity decreases, and this model during the overnight only has activity on the east side of 395 and into Nevada. And then during the day on Wednesday, this is Wednesday afternoon, all of the activity is along the crest of the Sierra and the east side. Let's take a look at the way the NAM nest shows this. The NAM nest tends to be a little bit more aggressive. Doesn't mean it's wrong, just means it's a little bit more aggressive. This is at 5 o'clock, same pattern with activity in Modoc County, Lassen County, on the east side of the Sierra, and the same thing here in Lake County and Mendocino County. Then during the nighttime, now we're up to 10 o'clock tonight. A little bit more activity here in the Sierra. One little blip here in maybe western Colusa County. And look at these little blips here. This is around 5 o'clock in the morning. So the NAM nest is trying to say that maybe there could be some similar activity to last night developing on the west slope during the very early morning hours, 4, 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll see about that. And then during the rest of the day tomorrow, once again, this pattern looks similar, showing activity along the crest of the Sierra, farther north, and then during the day on Thursday, this looks like some stuff going by, maybe some cloud cover going by. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where we get any thunderstorm activity today. But getting something over the valley, that looks as though the chance of that was last night and it happened, and that doesn't look as though I'll have that chance today or tonight. Still have that low spinning around, which is why we have that circulation here, but as that moves inland, the flow turns more out of the southwest, which is why we'll see the activity more along the crest of the Sierra. But still, this is a pretty nice pattern. Warm, but not too hot for this time of year. Ridging here in the middle part of the country. Now we're up to the day on Thursday. Now let's get into Friday, the 4th of July. Look at this little trough going by. Onshore breeze may keep temperatures in the 80s. Nice, perfect for being outdoors on the 4th of July. Very comfortable. Then as we head into the weekend, it'll turn a little warmer, but back into the low to mid 90s. So warm, but not overly hot for this time of year. Lots of things, of course, going on outdoors this weekend, including the Folsom Pro Rodeo. And if you've ever been, you know how hot it can be, since it does start in the early evening hours and some of the bleachers face straight into the sun. So, but all in all, relatively comfortable, I would think, with temperatures in the 90s, not over 100. So that's getting us through this 4th of July weekend. Nice, pretty comfortable to be outside. Now, we've been looking at when this high is going to get rebuilt and when are we going to get into some heat. Another low in here early next week, helping to keep the high just a little bit farther away. But once that trough weakens, then the high nudges its way back in, and now we're up to the 9th, 10th. So it does look as though maybe in about a week and a half, we may be seeing some temperatures up around 100 degrees or higher. But still, there's a remnants of a low in here, a small feature that this far out we really can't discern very much of. But it does look as though, you know, we won't see 100 degrees most likely for the next week, but more than a week, we'll have to see. And do keep in mind that now in the month of July, this is, on average, our hottest month. August is second. It's pretty close second. So if you can go through a week of July without any 100 degrees in it, which is what we'll do this first 7 days likely, we're doing okay. Not making any promises beyond the first 7 days, but we'll see how it goes. So far, we had 2 days over 100 in Sacramento in the month of May, right at the end of the month, and we had 1 in the month of June. So we're up to 3. And keep in mind, we average around 24, 25. So you know that we're going to be rebalancing and getting closer to the average here over the next 2 months. So enjoy the more moderate weather while we have it. And yeah, keep an eye on the sky. We'll see what happens with the chance of thunderstorms, mostly in the Sierra today, and hope we don't get any more fires started in, let's say, Mendocino or Northern Lake County or Trinity County later on today. That's everything I've got for you on this Tuesday morning, our first day of July. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.